Deduction of local property tax at source from your salary, wages or occupational pension. The liability date for local property tax LPT is the 1st of November each year. This means that your property is liable for local property tax for 2025 if it is a residential property on the 1st of November 2024. Notices are issued every year around November advising taxpayers about their LPT for the following year. The majority of taxpayers now receive an email to advise them that they have new mail in their revenue account and that there are also those who get them via standard mail. You have to log into your Revenue My account to access the notification. This is a sample of this notice. When you open it in a PDF, it looks like this, and the property ID and PIN number are included for payment reference purposes. If your property has become liable for local property tax, you need to value your property and submit your local property tax return by the 2nd of December 2024. We have a video here that brings you through this process, and here is the link to it on this channel. Local property tax can be deducted from salary at source. Employers are required to make this facility available to their employees or occupational pensioners. Where this payment option is chosen, Revenue notifies the employer on the Revenue Payroll notification of the amount of the LPT to deduct from net salary or occupational pension. This would be deducted by your employer or pension provider based on the figure provided and issued by Revenue on the Revenue Payroll notification or RPN. Deductions are normally spread out over the tax year. If you choose the deduction at source option from your salary, you will need to provide your employer's or pension provider's name and employer's or pension provider's tax registration number, which in many cases may be obtained on your payslip, as shown here on this sample payslip with employer registration number. Please see our video, How to Read and Understand Your Payslip, for other possible areas to find this number on your payslip. If this number is not on your payslip, you can get it from your employer. The date by which you need to pay your local property charge depends on the payment option you choose. In January 2025, phase payment starts for deduction at source through your wages. Here at Payroll Matters in Ireland, we recommend that if you wish to change from another method and to have your LPT deducted from your salary, wages or occupational pension, that you notify Revenue by the end of November. If you already are paying your local property tax at source, as it says in this sample letter, you don't need to do anything, as your employer will be notified of your 2025 deductions. Just before I get into the step-by-step guide of how to select deduction at source through your wages by your employer or pension provider and give you some more valuable information about local property tax deductions at source, please allow me to introduce myself. This is Pádraig here from Payroll Matters in Ireland, the YouTube channel, Facebook group and social media platform for all PAYE workers and their employers to ask, get answers and find out about pay, PAYE, income tax returns, public holiday entitlements, universal social charge, pay-related social insurance, pensions, redundancy, week one basis, statements of liability, tax credits, employee and employer statutory rights and obligations, and a myriad of other work and payroll-related issues, all free of charge. The Facebook page and Facebook group are called Payroll Matters in Ireland, and new members, followers and subscribers are always welcome. Let's get started on paying your local property tax. Log in to your Revenue My account. Select Local Property Tax. Depending on whether you are an existing or new property owner, this opening screen may vary. These are the steps to be taken to pay your local property tax. You may want to take a closer look here to see if your local authority applied any adjustments. On step 1, you can view or correct your return. This is the table of local authorities that have applied adjustments and those that have not. On the View Return tab in this video guide, we are only covering deductions at source. Under deductions method, a property owner can pay the local property tax from their salary or occupational pension spread over the year by deduction at source, or DAS. You can choose the correct return tab to make any changes. Step 2. You can view your payment method. Step 2. You can manage or change the payment method. Manage payments for a selected period. You can set up payment for multiple periods or properties using this screen. Step 2. Pay missed payment. If for one reason or another you have a missed payment, you can make it up on this screen. This is what you see on your payments and deductions screens. Employers and pension providers are obliged to make deductions at source available to their employees or pensioners. The employer pension provider cannot take an instruction from the employee to stop deducting local property tax from his or her salary. The employer is obliged to deduct the applicable local property tax until there is no further payment due as per the revenue payroll notification. If an employee selects this deduction at source payment option, revenue notifies the employer or pension provider of the amount of LPT to deduct. Your employer or pension provider must deduct local property tax once notified. Revenue deductions at source instructions can be issued at any time throughout the year, and employers must act on each notification. If you are a new employee with a company, revenue will confirm how much local property tax is outstanding and issue a revenue payroll notification to your employer. Your employer can then commence deductions from salaries. Your employer should spread the deductions evenly over the remaining pay days in the year. What an employer must do. For local property tax, an employer is obliged to 1. Deduct the payments evenly over the pay periods up to the year end. 2. Not alter or cease deductions unless notified by revenue. 3. Show local property tax deductions on employees or pensioners' payslips. 4. Deduct local property tax from round sum expense or lump sum payments paid to the employee to cover expenses. 5. Not deduct local property tax from vouched expenses payments. This is where you reimburse the employee for actual expenses incurred in the performance of duties of employment. 6. Notify revenue if there will be insufficient income to meet the full local property tax liability for the year. You can do this through My Inquiries or Revenue Online Service, ROS. As we have mentioned earlier, if you already pay local property tax by a recurring payment method through your wages, this will automatically be carried forward to 2025. The recurring payment methods we deal with here include deductions at source from your salary, wages or occupational pension. If you paid local property tax for 2024 with a repeating payment method through your wages, the payment will continue in 2025 unless you choose a different way to pay. The amount of each payment will depend on the number of salary, wage or pension payments you are due to receive during the year. Your employer or pension provider should report your local property tax payments to revenue with your payroll deductions every time you are paid. You can view your local property tax payments as reported by your employer via the Manage Your Tax link on My Account. This payment method will automatically apply for the following years as long as you are still employed by the same employer or your pension is paid by the same pension provider. Payroll Matters in Ireland would like to advise that this local property tax payment method is not suitable for anyone considering selling their property within the year or engaged in seasonal work or short-term contracts. If you cease or change employment, your previous employer should confirm the amount of local property tax deducted on your final payroll submission. If you commence new employment, revenue will request that your new employer deduct the remaining local property tax due for that year. You should contact revenue through My Inquiries if you notice that deductions have not commenced for your new employment. If you do not have new employment, you should set up a new local property tax payment method to pay your outstanding local property tax charge for the year. You can do this through my account as we have shown on Ross or on local property tax online service or by contacting Revenue. Mandatory deductions at source. Revenue may instruct your employer or pension provider to deduct your outstanding local property tax LPT. This liability will be deducted from your salary or occupational pension. This will occur if local property tax payments are not made on time. This will also occur if you do not honour the payment method you selected. Your employer is not informed that you have not paid your outstanding local property tax. The instruction will issue to your employer as though you elected the deduction at source payment method voluntarily. Deduction at source is a common payment method used by employees to pay their local property tax. Where owners do not file their local property tax return on time, Revenue will estimate the amount of local property tax to be deducted from wages or occupational pensions. Before I leave you for now, can I ask you to hit this subscribe button and also to turn on YouTube notifications for this channel so you can get an alert every time we post a new video guide, as we have many more helpful pay, income tax and other work related and videos to bring you. Go on, hit that subscribe button. Go on. See you next time.